رمضان 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 فرصة عمر.
In the previous video, we established that God exists. Now, let's establish another fundamental belief of the Muslims, namely, that Allah does not resemble His creations. First of all, we Muslims believe that Allah is one. I don't mean by that He is the number one. Rather, what it means is that Allah has no partners in Godhood. That there is no God but Him. And so nothing is like Him, nothing in any way. Now, before continuing, let's establish that this is explicitly mentioned in the Quran in multiple verses. Allah said, وَإِلَهُكُمْ إِلَهٌ وَاحِدٌ, and your Lord is one. لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُ, no one is God but Him, meaning no one deserves to be worshipped except Him. This verse and many others explicitly establish that He has no partners. And Allah also said, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ, which means nothing resembles Him in any way. This verse and many others establish that Allah is not like anything and that nothing is like Him. Now this last ayah, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ, is very important. The scholars of Ahlus Sunnah said that it is the most explicit verse of tanzih in the Quran. Tanzih means to clear Allah of created attributes. In this verse is an emphasis that Allah does not have any of the attributes of His creations. For this reason, scholars like Ahmad ibn Hanbal and Thawban ibn Ibrahim, otherwise known as Dhunnun al-Misri, said in a famous statement that was repeated and transmitted after them throughout the ages, مهما تصورت ببالك فالله بخلاف ذلك أو فالله لا يشبه ذلك, which means whatever you imagine in your mind, Allah is different from it. Allah does not resemble it. Now, let's imagine together for a bit. If you imagine something black or blue or white or yellow or whatever else, you know that that is not God, because God created all of that. If you imagine something with a size or a shape or an image or a form, you know that that is not God, because God created all of that. If you imagine something like a human with arms and legs and feet, sitting or standing, awake or sleeping, you know that is not God, because Allah created all of that. If you imagine something light or dark, or something tangible, thick, something you can grab like the table, or intangible, thin, something you cannot grab like air, you know that that is not Allah, because Allah created all of that. Whatever you imagine in your mind, that is not Allah, because Allah created you and He created what you are imagining. Allah created us and He created all our attributes. So He is not like us and His attributes are not like our attributes. I am sitting in a place right now. I have a shape and a size and a color, all of which were specified for me by Allah. So Allah is not attributed with any of that. All of this is understood from the ayah, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ, which means nothing resembles Him in any way. This is why Ahlus Sunnah made another statement about Allah generations ago. A statement that the scholars came to a consensus about. Meaning, they agreed that it is correct, as stated by Al-Imam Abu Mansur al-Baghdadi in his book Al-Farqu Bayn al-Firaq. That statement is, Allahu mawjudun bila makan. Allah exists without a place. Allah is not in one place, nor is He in every place. He exists without place. That which is in a place is in need of its place, and Allah is not in need of anything. I am in a place, and you are in a place. So were Allah in a place, He would be like us. And He said, as we mentioned several times now, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. Nothing is like Him in any way. Allah exists and has always existed. He has no beginning. That which has a beginning is a creation, and Allah is not a creation. We talked about that in the last video. This means that He existed before the creations, all of them, without any exception. That includes place and time. Al-Imam al-Bukhari and others narrated from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with an authentic chain of narration that he said, كَانَ اللَّهُ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ شَيْءٌ غَيْرُهُ, which means Allah existed and there was nothing else. That means without exception, no place, no time, no sky, no arsh, no earth, nothing. So He existed without place, and Allah exists now as He existed without changing. That which changes needs someone to change it. That which changes has created attributes, attributes that began. And before they began, they did not exist. And if its attributes have a beginning, then it too must have a beginning. And Allah has no beginning. So He does not change. He is as He was. He creates change in His creations. He Himself does not change. All of this can be understood and deduced from just one short, eloquent, beautiful verse of the Quran. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. The Arabs at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam understood all of these things without a need for much explanation. The Quran was revealed in their language. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam spoke in their language as they spoke. Granted, more eloquent, but still in a manner that was crystal clear to them. Nowadays, we do not speak like them. Even the Arabs amongst us, nowadays, we do not speak like them. Even the Arabs amongst us. So sometimes we need to hear it explained. But they understood. They understood these things just from hearing La ilaha illallah. No one is God except Allah. When they understood that statement, they would understand oneness. That Allah is one in His being, meaning there is no other God, no other deity, and that He is not divisible into parts, because if something is divisible into parts, then it is not truly one. This is why Ahlus Sunnah say Allah is not a body, nor does He have body parts. They would understand that He is one in His attributes. He has attributes. He hears, He sees, He knows, He exists. But His attributes are not like ours in any way. He does not need an eye to see or an ear to hear. They would understand that His attributes are one, meaning that they also are not divisible into parts. Allah knows everything with one attribute of knowledge that has no beginning and no end. He always knew everything. He does not learn or forget. Our attribute of knowledge is not one. We know things, then we forget them, meaning that knowledge ended. Then we learn something, and a new knowledge begins, etc. As for Allah, He is one in His attributes. And the Arabs of old would also understand that He is one in His doings, meaning no one does what He does. He is the only one who creates. This is what the Arabs at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam understood when they heard La ilaha illallah and Laysa kamithlihi shay. And this is why the scholars after them agreed that you cannot imagine Allah. In fact, it even came in some hadiths, sometimes attributed directly to the Prophet ﷺ, and sometimes attributed to one of his companions, that he said, La fikrata fir Rabb. There is no imagining Allah. We believe in Allah. We believe in His attributes, but we don't liken Him to the creation in any way or try to imagine Him. This is the truth. This is the correct belief. So believe in it and stick to it and obey Allah, and you will be successful.